Hi, everyone. Before we left, we were reading this book, Save the White Whales by Geronimo Stilton. And we left off on a chapter that was about the whale being beached. I hope that you guys remember this. And I know a lot of you were excited to find out what happened next. So I'm going to continue where we left off and hopefully be able to read the rest of it so that you guys can find out what happened next. This chapter is It Still Breathing? Petunia grabbed her cell phone and called for help. While she was squeaking, I studied the whale. It didn't look good. Then I remembered something I had heard about whales. The whale's skin is super delicate. It needs to be kept moist at all times. I grabbed Benjamin's beach pail and filled it up with water. I poured it over the whale. The kids and I took turns racing back and forth trying to wet down the whale with seawater, but the whale was enormous. Slowly, its eyes closed. It was no longer spraying. My heart felt like a stale lump of cheese. Uncle Geronimo, is it still breathing? Benjamin gulped. I wasn't sure. After all, this was the first whale I had ever seen up close and personal. Let's hope for the best, I said. I crossed my whiskers for good luck. Just as Petunia snapped her cell phone shut, a moonbeam lit up the whale. We gasped. How incredible! It was a white whale. Oh my gosh, Gee, Petunia cried. It's hard to read backwards. It's an extremely rare white humpback whale. Look at how big that thing is. Then it gives a fact page about humpback whales. The humpback is a baleen whale, one of the larger rorqual species. Adults range in length up to 52 feet and can weigh up to 79,000 pounds. The humpback is a slow swimmer and feeds mostly on krill. It's little shellfish that are similar to shrimp. And small fish, especially anchovies, to get its prey. It circles a school of fish and traps them in an air bubble, like a net, emitted from the blowhole that can be as large as 145 feet across. It has a thin head with knobs. And it's an acrobatic animal. When it surfaces, it can jump up clear out of the water. This is called breaching. The dorsal fin is low and hard, and the whale has a hump near its head. Humpbacks have two blowholes, like all baleen whales. Humpbacks use their massive tail fins to propel themselves through the water. They stick their tail out of the water and into the air, swing it around, and then slap it on the water's surface, making a loud sound. This is called lobtailing. The humpback's scientific name is Megaptera noviangulae. I hope that's right. Megaptera means giant wing and refers to the whale's long front flippers, characterized also by lumps along their edges. See those lumps there? Petunia explained that the whale was white because it was an albino. Albinos have no color to their skin because their body does not produce something called melanin. Remember Moby Dick, the white whale, in Herman Melville's story? He was an albino sperm whale, Petunia added. I nodded. Do you know Herman Melville? He was an amazing writer of long ago. I was still thinking about Herman Melville when Benjamin suggested we name the whale Hope. Oh, gee, I hope Hope makes it, Petunia whispered, squeezing my paw tightly. I tried to agree, but I could hardly breathe. Petunia's grip was killing me. Did I mention she is an extremely strong mouse? And it gives a little bit of a story on Herman Melville and who he was. And he was a very good writer who wrote a famous book called Moby Dick. It's a famous story. Herman Melville was born in New York in 1819, left penniless by his father, which means he had no money. He often worked as a sailor in the ocean. These trips inspired his first adventure novels. His greatest masterpiece, Moby Dick, was published in 1851. The story tells of a voyage on the whaling ship Pequod, commanded by Captain Ahab. The crew on the ship hunted whales, specifically the enormous white whale called Moby Dick. Herman Melville died in New York in 1891 at the age of 72. Goodbye, Hope. Before long, the rescue team arrived. Petunia's friend, Dr. Tina Louise Cuddlefer, nicknamed Dr. TLC, was in charge. She wore a white lab coat, glasses, and a serious expression. "You were right to try to keep the whale's skin wet," she said after she examined Hope. "But now we need to give her some medicine and get her back to the sea as quickly as possible." Petunia, Benjamin, Bugsy, and I sprang into action. We set up some floodlights on the beach so Dr. TLC and the other vets could see. Then we watched as the doctors gave her medicine and carefully wrapped her body in soaking wet towels. At dawn, Dr. TLC decided Hope was strong enough to return to the sea. We helped fasten her to floaters tied by strong but soft ropes. The ends of the ropes were attached to a large tugboat. When the doctor gave a signal, we all began to pull. The rope dug into my paws. Let's show you this side of the picture. My back ached, my shoulders burned. I chewed my whiskers to keep from sobbing. After all, I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of Petunia. As soon as she was in the open sea, Hope dove underwater, splashing the surface with her tail as if waving goodbye. "Goodbye, Hope," we all shouted. "Goodbye, Hope." Project Save the White Whale. The next Monday, I was back in my office in New Mouse City, looking at pictures from my vacation. That's when I came up with a great idea. I would publish a special edition of the Rodents Gazette all about the Bay of Whales. I would write about the smoke and the factories. I would write about the litter on the beach and the noisy traffic. And of course, I would write about the whales. The next day, thousands of letters poured in. I couldn't believe how many rodents cared about the Bay of Whales. Petunia, Benjamin, and Bugsy helped me read the letters. "I have an idea," said Petunia. "We could have the Rodents Gazette collect signatures to have the Bay of Whales declared a protected natural marine park." "That's a great idea," I said. "We can call it Project Save the White Whale." The next day, I got all of my friends and family involved in the project. I asked my friend in advertising to help get the word out. I asked my lawyer friend to give me advice on collecting the signatures. I asked my baker friend to pass out cheese treats to everyone waiting in line to sign the petition. I even asked my Aunt Sweetfur to help answer the phones. It was Fabumouse. It was a Fabumouse success. A month later, we heard back from the Mouse Island Environmental Protection Agency. They checked out our claims and decided the Bay of Whales was a precious treasure. The bay was declared a protected marine park. Anything is possible. Before long, the bay was bustling with activity. Giant purifiers were installed to clean the dirty seawater. All of the garbage was picked up from the beach, and the factories that polluted the air with their toxic fumes were shut down. The center of the town at Bay of Whales was closed to cars, and a small museum was built by the water, where visitors could view all kinds of marine life. Best of all, Miss Sweetcakes went back to running Whales and Tales by the sea. I was happy the bay was back to the way I remembered it when I was little. I started taking vacations there again. As soon as I finished work, I headed down to the bay for the weekend. Soon all of my friends and family were joining me. My sister Thea, my cousin Trap, and my friend Hercule Poirot. Everyone loved the beaches and the whales, and dolphins enjoyed the attention. They jumped and dove into the sea, waving their fins at the crowd. One weekend, Petunia joined me. We had a great time watching the whales from a boat, partly because the whales are so fascinating, and partly because I took seasickness pills before we left the dock. I still haven't told Petunia that I like her, but someday I will. After all, if I can help save a white whale, anything is possible. What are you doing to help the environment? You too can give a little or a lot to help save the planet. And these are some other titles that we might soon be reading on here. I hope you guys enjoyed reading the rest of the book with me. I'll talk to you later. We'll do another reading. Bye.